Hello, very good morning to all. Today we will learn parental care in amphibians. So I am going to share the screen. Just wait for a few seconds. I am going to share the screen. Is it get shared? Okay. So let us continue. In last lecture, we learned the classification of amphibia. Now we will learn the parental care of amphibia. So what does mean by parental care? So parental care is a complex behavior shown by the parents to take care of their offspring. It is well developed in the amphibia where extreme modifications in structure and their behavior are noted by several scientists. These are there are several plans for protection during the early stages of development, and they fall under two categories. First is the protection by means of nest or by means of nursery, and second is the direct nursing by the parents. We will learn this part later. Now we will learn protection by means of nest, or it's a kind of nursery made by the parents for their developing amphibians, for their developing tadpoles. Amphibians have evolved countless or a large number of interesting methods to give protection to their defenseless eggs and larvae from the predators. This is the first one, protection by means of mud nest. Actually, this is the Brazilian tree frog. Name of this animal is the Hyla faber. In these animals, they make a basin-shaped nest in a shallow water on the border of pond. The female scoops 3 or 4 inches of the mud and built a circular wall which emerges above the surface of water. So female lays eggs about 2 days thereafter nest building. So later the nest may be destroyed by the heavy rain and the larvae move out into the water. Sometimes they build that mud nest in another way also. Here there are 4 mud nests. This is the one, this is the 2, this is the third one, this is the fourth one. Here parents are also there. Here along with the eggs, actually tadpoles are hatches out from the eggs. This is the same thing, and this is the another way to build the mud nest into the shallow water by using hand limbs. Frog try to push more and more mud on one side, and thereafter it forms a little space, or it forms a kind of little structure within the water. This pushed mud, it forms a kind of wall around it, and inside that female lays eggs. So after hatching tadpoles, that female may broken down this wall, or due to the heavy rains also, they may be broken down, and newly hatched tadpoles, they freely swim into the water. By that way, this mud nest is useful to protect their helpless eggs. Then a second point, it is the foam nest. According to Malik and Das in 1980, they were studied in detail, and they invented that the Polypedetes maculatus, this species, it secretes a jelly-like secretion with eggs from time to time, which is bitten by the crosswise movement of the hind limbs of the female partner, so that it is responsible for the formation of bubbles, and these bubbles remain attached with each other so that it forms a kind of foam. It is likely to that of foam which is created in the detergent water when we are shaking our hand into the detergent water. In the same manner here, large foam is formed. These are the parents which are present here. When mating takes place, at the same time female discharges some amount of sticky mucus from the cloaca, and within that cloaca, whatever mucus which is released, along with that she releases eggs also, and here by the process of beating she is responsible for developing large white colored foam, but it never remains as it is. Slowly it turns into yellow colored. At the beginning it appears white, but slowly that entire mass of foam, it gradually turns into yellow color one, and the mass of frothy with egg is called as foam nest. Within few hours or after 1 or 2 days, outer surface it becomes hardens, but at the bottom of that it has a small liquid or soft part is there, from which whenever these tadpoles or hatches out from the eggs, they drop down directly into the water. The reason that is that generally these foam nests they are formed on the leaves or the branches of the bushes or the trees which are present near the water, or which the branches which are overhanging over the water bodies. So on the grass beds in between the leaves of overhanging water, and on the grass bed in the vicinity of water line, these frothy masses are there in which fertilized eggs they developing. The third is the leaf nest. Leaf means large leaves, tree leaves. These leaves they get they are folded with the help of uh, mouth, or when two leaves they are very close. Female liberates glue like material from the cloaca, and due to which several leaves they attached with each other so that it forms a kind of a nest. Particularly in Phyllomedusa, a South American tree frog. The leaf nest is built by folding the margins of the leaves, and leaf margins are glued together by cloacal secretion. It has an aperture at the base or at the bottom through which whatever eggs which are totally incubated and whatever tadpoles are emerges out from the eggs, they drop down from the bottom. This is the same thing here at the bottom, that there is a presence of little space to emerge out tadpoles from that. The fourth is the tree nest or shoot nest. Here also uh, particularly the tree frog Hyla resin fictis, it makes nest in shallow cavities of trees. It lines the cavity with beeswax, which is collected from the nest of some stingless bees. During the rainy season, the cavity is filled with the water and the female lays eggs in it, and the young ones also develop in it after hatching. These fall down into the water currents which are present near the trees. Second important one more example is the Autodax. It belongs to order Urodella. The female lays 10 to 20 eggs in the holes of trees, or sometimes in the dry holes in the grounds also. The female of both partners, sometimes only female, but most of the time both partners, they remain with the eggs and developing young ones, protecting them from enemies and also providing them moisture. So this is a tree nest. And what about the shoot nest? Sometimes these these frogs, they climb up over the top of the trees, at the shoot of the trees, and within that, where there is a space, they lay large number of eggs there. This is also an interesting example, which is shoot out by some other scientist. Here you may see this hyla which come here, and a very small amount of water is accumulated at the shoot or in the middle part of this plant, and here now female lay eggs, and on which glue like substance which is released over the eggs, so that enemies could not able to feed on the eggs of hyla. This is also a method of egg laying, which is reported in most of the tree frogs. They lay their eggs on the leaves, on the bark, or on the cracks and crevasses which are present on the trees. Then next is the transparent gelatinous bags. Some amphibians like Phrynilaxus biroi, the female lay large eggs which are enclosed in sausage-shaped transparent gelatinous bags, and these bags are secreted by the females. These bags are left in the mountainous stream. This is the bag, yellow colored one, and in which whatever black colored dots you are observing, these are the eggs, and in which young ones are developing. These bags are generally left in the mountain streams. The development is completed in the eggs, and little frogs come out of the bag. A small aquatic salamander, Salamandrella caeserlingi, it also deposits about 50 to 60 eggs in transparent gelatinous bag, which it attaches to the aquatic plant, and the larvae hatches out at an advanced stage. So by that way, after hatching out the larvae, these larvae fall down directly into the water, and thereafter it survives in that. Sixth point is the direct development. Here, this is the Hyla nebulosa. This Hyla nebulosa, in which a female lays eggs, and these eggs are hatches directly into the young larva, a young frog directly. That means it avoids larval stages, and hence it avoids the larval mortality. There is one more example in the Plethodon. It is also called as red-backed salamander, Plethodon cinereus. The hatchling are miniature of the adult. That means they are very much similar to these of the adults. Then next and last most important, that is the defending in territories. Many species of the frog maintain definite territories to protect the eggs. For example, this is the male. It is green in color. Hence, it is also called as green frog. But scientific name of this frog is the Rana clamitans. It attacks any intruder in its territory. That means if enemy which come in the vicinity of her eggs, male or sometimes female also attack on that intruders. So by that way, eggs they get protected from the enemies. The male Manto Firini robusta, it also sits over the eggs and hold that elastic gelatinous bags containing developing eggs. Some species of the tree frogs, they are directly sitting near, or sometimes they are directly sitting on the egg masses until they hatch out. And if the guardian frog is get removed, the eggs are dried, and sometimes the young ones which are present within the eggs, they also died. So by that way, we learned first part, that is the parental care, in which they get protecting their young ones from the nursery or by means of nest. So rest of the details means direct nursing by parent we will learn in the next lecture. So thank you. If you have any doubt, you may ask me.